In this book here that I'm referring to, The World of Marian Apparitions, there are 48 apparitions spanning from Rome. She has 1881 to 2014, but I know she makes a point of saying that this is from Fatima onwards. But every so often, she's going to look backwards and pick up a few before Fatima, such as the first Marian apparition that Sarah and I covered last year. So I'm going to go through a few of the apparitions that you can find on our channel, my channel, Garden of Graces, and in general, Fides Sriracha. First one was St. James the Greater. While he was in Spain and Mary was living in Jerusalem. Aope in 1992. The 2004, the Mediatrix of All Graces, to the Nigerian 12-year-old girl. Warwick in 2009, the Royal Virgin of Giza, and we covered that one. Mary's appeared in Egypt many times. Zutone, Saint Daminia in Shobra, Edfu, Shentena, and Al-Hagar, and Assuat. The National Shrine of Good Help in Champion, Wisconsin.
She's actually Our Lady of Champion.
Our Lady of Champion. Excellent, excellent, excellent. And Our Lady of Guadalupe. And of course, we've gone through Fatima, Portugal, pretty in depth as well. So this one is Lille. This apparition is situated in L'Isle Bouchard, France, in 1947. It has ecclesial approbation. It's not officially recognized by the Archbishop, but the tours to this site have been authorized as well as pilgrimages and public worship. And he made the Marian Shrine a diocesan sanctuary. So it's kind of like the Shroud of Turin. Isn't going to come out and say that this is definitely the burial cloth of Christ. What they do is they go about it with a little bit more nuance and arrange tours and pilgrimages, and they have Holy Mass there, and the popes go visit, and they call it JP2 calls it an icon. So it's a similar sort of thing here. The historical setting. So Our Lady appears in 7 apparitions spanning December 8th to the 14th in the Church of St. Giles. I bet you that's a different way to pronounce that in French. Gilles.
Gilles, maybe.
Okay. And that's
if it's 2 L's.
There's 2 L's.
Gilles.
Yeah.
Lille, peut-être. Yeah. It's hard to say. I mean, cities I'm not necessarily an expert on pronunciation. Lille is Lille, so Gilles, it's probably Gilles.
Gilles. As predicted at Fatima, so this is 1947, we recall Fatima's 1917. So 30 years later, the Russian communism is spreading its errors throughout the world, including in this small town of L'Isle Bouchard near Tours. 2 years after, so it's 2 years after disastrous war, that's World War II, the communists had successfully infiltrated many governments and religious institutions. The economy, and I'm talking about France's economy was ruined, and a harsh winter destroyed crops. Inflation was rampant, and stores were open only about half the time. They were like a Monday, Wednesday, Friday or something. It was very, very limited when you could go to shop. And my friends, this is a fertile ground for communists. In fact, the communist leader called for strikes, and France was on the verge of a civil war. And by October, things looked really bleak for the French citizenry and was right on schedule for the atheist. can stop there before we're going to take a turn here.
Yeah, I mean, communism is without a doubt, one of the primary enemies of the church, because it's almost a mimic of it. It's so capable of taking the language that we understand in Catholic terms, which should always lead to the supernatural, and corrupt it to only the natural help of man, right? So I think that it's people who have a heart toward the church, and we see this so often in so many different places, where communism seems to get its initial foothold is in a lot of Christian, well, specifically Catholic cultures. And France at this point is no different, per se, other than the fact that it does have, France did have a very different situation, because you already have a secularized government, and the individuals are already striving to live, I would think, Catholicism separated from governance. So there is an element of a true cultural Catholicism that runs deeply within the people who are in France, but you also have an incredibly demoralized populace as a result of the devastating loss of human life in World War I already, and then compounding that with World War II. France is really, I think, at that point, is really on its knees at that point, literally and figuratively.
And Our Lady's going to agree with you. So on the morning of December 8th, the Immaculate Conception. So Sarah rightly brings up that dogma, and it plays into this apparition. A mystic and stigmatist, her name is Martha Robin, declared, "The Virgin Mary is going to save France by the prayers of little children." And there's actually 4 girls. Martha Robin's cause for beatification has been opened. So I thought, who is this Martha? Right. So why quote her if we don't know her? So let's look a little bit. And boy, this sounded just like a case that a chaplain I know just encountered not too long ago. Martha Robin had been confined to her bed for almost 30 years due to complete paralysis. And she suffered the signs of the stigmata, which is of the Passion of our Lord. She neither ate nor drank anything. Her only sustenance consisted of the Holy Eucharist, which she received once a week. This amazing woman accepted her suffering with tremendous patience and was in constant prayer and intercession for the world. On December 8th, 1947, the feast of the Immaculate Conception, Martha was visited by her spiritual director, Father George Finnett, who said Mass for her that day in her bedroom. He later commented on the sad condition of their poor country, says probably Father George Finnett, and lamented that everyone believed that France was on the verge of a collapse and would soon be placed under communism. Martha, with great confidence, told him there was no need to worry. France would be saved by the prayers of little children. All right. Any other thoughts? And we'll stop and pick up with those. Who are these little children?
No, I mean, Martha Robin, I mean, to me, she's Martha Robin. Martha Robin, she's really just an incredible mystic. I mean, and I find it so interesting that it's only now where she's starting to, be just sprinkled lightly through the culture, kind of in the same way as I was just able to go to the home of Rhoda Wise, a very similar type person with around the same time frame, suffering the wounds of the stigmata. It is very interesting, I think, before what you were talking about in terms of like the difference between male and female, right? And how God created us, because for whatever reason, our Lord has seen fit to give many female saints and these blesseds that we're getting to meet. Many women have really endured the pain of the stigmata. It's almost as though our Lord wants so thoroughly for people to understand that, I don't know, that human flesh, that element of us, that the goodness is seen so profoundly in both. I don't know. I mean, it seems an odd thing. I don't really have much to say about it other than the fact that it's cause for meditation. You know, why? You know, wasn't it Saint Veronica? No, not Saint Veronica. Saint Rose of Lima, who had the crown of
Mhm.
thorns, and um, Saint. There's another saint. Oh, what is her name? It is a Saint Veronica, like Giuliani or something like that, where she was given a mystical suffering of the passion, but she wanted it impressed upon her heart. And when they took her heart out, they found the markings of the entire passion. You know, the cross, the crown of thorns, the spear. Um, so it is interesting to me that for whatever mystical reason, God has asked some very powerful women within the church to bear that burden and to bear those marks for him. Because of course we know about Padre Pio, of course we know about Saint Francis of Assisi, but there's some really beautiful grace there that it also manifests itself um, in that manner.
Yes, it does. Very good. Very good. All right, my friends, let's pick up with those 4 little girls. Till the next time, Fides Horatio.